Hello, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Spilling the Tea Leaves. My name is Michelle. For those of you that don't know me, I am the owner and founder of Remember Love. You can find me online at Remember Love Healing. You can also find me on Instagram, which is at Remember Love, and you can also find us on Patreon. Yes, we have a Patreon. If you want to find a happy place, a community, it gives you access to our Discord, which is a new thing for me because maybe it's a generational thing, but I've never used Discord before, but it's highly recommended. It feels that your information is pretty private and there's voice chat stuff so we can share. It's a place where you can talk about anything, judgment-free, synchronicity, things that you're dreaming about, symbolism, if you are interested in learning a more traditional path, if you're interested in learning about astrology, chakras, whatever, there's going to be somebody there to help you and guide your way. And I like to post a lot of interesting articles. So, yes, before we jump in today's episode, which is spirituality in the age of social media. If you're watching me on YouTube, by the way, I talk with my hands a lot, so this is going to be happening. And if you've seen me before on YouTube, there's only a few episodes where I film myself. It's different. My background is different. I have, like I said, moved to Nairobi, and we just changed the office again. We moved my office upstairs, and now I'm sharing the office with my husband. We're calling it Calm Central. So you're going to have his stuff, my stuff. He's like a techie guy and I am not a techie gal. So setup's different, background's different. We're making it work. And you're going to hear a lot of birds, which I still hear, and people talking and trucks driving. So I apologize in advance for all that noise. I'm trying to keep it as quiet as possible. Windows are closed, doors locked, so there should be no interruptions. So before we get started in the episode, I have some really exciting news. I have an ebook. So if you are, the ebook is called Chakra Health, Crystals and Techniques to Achieve Harmony. So for those of you who are coming into the spiritual journey and are just learning about things just like chakras, I provide a lot of insight on chakra health. So we talk about. It's a really colorful book. There's a lot of pictures. So I try not to bog it down with a lot of unnecessary information. I give you the facts. I give you the pictures. I give you the techniques. It's quick. It's there. If you just want it as a reference book, you got it. It's there. There's a lot of journaling as well. So you're able to really dive deep into why you're feeling the way you're feeling, how you can help yourself. It touches really lightly on shadow work, so I think it's a really great introduction for those of you who haven't done a lot of shadow work or don't know how to or are a little nervous about it. I give you some techniques on how you can do it safely without judgment, which is the number one thing, is do it without judgment. And just start tapping into exploring some feelings and emotions, right? So it's on my website, rememberlovehealing.com. How did I say this? Never mind. So if you are interested in the book, I have a coupon code. It is 50% off of the book. So that coupon code is RL Family. Just type that in at checkout and it's yours. You get a link. You can download it to your favorite device. You can download it on your phone, download it on your computer, on your e-reader, on your iPad, whatever you want. If you don't want the full book, if you just want to know the crystal recommendations, which are also provided in the book, if you sign up to my newsletter, you got a mini version of the ebook / workbook. And that's going to give you a lot of the crystals, how they function, and sometimes a few little tips like rose quartz, put it under your pillow for better sleep and to help with insomnia. That is ebook, rememberlovehealing.com, and I'm going to put a link below. I just realized I don't have any water. All right, so we'll just keep going. Social media. So I have a love-hate relationship with social media. In this episode, I'm going to cover a little bit of the cons, a little bit of the pros, which they are pros, of course, and some tips on what you can do to protect yourself from misinformation on social media. Now, if you are like me and own a cell phone, You probably are either on Instagram, on Facebook, TikTok, even Snapchat. I haven't done Snapchat too much. I do have an account. I don't even know what it is actually. I log into it every so often. But I keep getting like these streak requests from like children, and I'm like, I don't know. Or some really awful, just disgusting videos from men. So I try to avoid it. Every so often I'll like send a message to a friend, and that's like once a month. But yeah, if you are on social media, especially TikTok is a big one since its rise in popularity. I have a TikTok account. I don't use it. I don't have it on my cell phone for security reasons. Once maybe they figure the security, I'll restart it. But right now I don't have it. Instagram is probably my biggest social media presence. So if you are on social media, you've seen terms like baby witches, and baby witches refers to those who are just coming into either a more traditional teaching like paganism or Wicca, or for those of you who are just exploring, for example, like solitary witches, green witches, eclectic, or just following a nature-based religion. And those who are just starting to explore, they often refer to themselves as baby witches. And of course, I'm going to have a comment on baby witches. I don't have a problem with the term per se. If you self-describe as a baby witch, awesome. But I just want to let you know that this isn't your first lifetime. This isn't your first go around. You're not a baby anything. You're not a fresh soul. So while this is for you, it feels like the first time, you've probably done this for hundreds of years in your past life. Don't sell yourself short. You know more intuitively than you are giving yourself credit for. And this is going to go into a little bit of the cons. Other terms you might have seen or familiar with. Shadow work. Shadow work is huge, but I feel like a lot of people don't know the actual definition. And shadow works is just kind of exploring the icky parts of yourself, or what we feel are icky, or our flaws, or our character flaws. Or, for example, if you tend to be a jealous person, the shadow work is going in and figuring out why you're just a jealous person. Childhood trauma, maybe even past life trauma, or something happened to you that you have feelings of abandonment, and it's really going in deep and figuring out why. And it's not an easy fix. It's not fixing the problem. Sometimes without psychiatric or psychological help or speaking to a therapist, you can't fix the problem, but it's learning to be comfortable with it, learning to not judge yourself with it, learning to overcome it perhaps, or try to cope as best as you can and improve yourself without judgment. That's the key in shadow work. Do it without judgment. I did a shadow work episode. Go for it. I think it's a few episodes back. It's actually the biggest, one of the most popular episodes that I've had. Shadow work. You've seen terms like positive vibes and love and light worker, empath, and crystal work. Tons of infographics on crystal recommendations. I actually have a few that have gone viral and keep getting reposted over and over again, which is cool. But I'm going to go to why that's not so cool in a minute. And tons of new age memes. I love new age memes. And I've had a few also go viral. As a matter of fact, I had one go so big, somebody took off the watermark, and one of my best friends reposted it without the watermark. And I'm like, what the crap, man? That's my meme. I want credit for it. And I sent her the original one. She's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Somebody posted it on some random private group and it just got back to me. Anyway, so you see all that, right? And what happens is, I don't know if it's because of lockdown, but a lot of people are either really wanting to connect with their spirituality, which is awesome. Highly recommended. Tough work, but 10/10. And then there's other people who are seeing it as an opportunity to become popular or for personal gain. And this is where it gets really, really dicey, right? Because these accounts, while they have a beautiful aesthetic, and I know I've spoken about this before, they have this gorgeous aesthetic, these beautiful flowers, my favorite ones, the beautiful flowers in the bathtub surrounded by crystals. Those are really, really popular right now. Or the naked woman in the woods or in the waterfalls with a mask and smoke coming out in the background. Like, they have these amazing images and these captions to go along with it. And because their page is so beautiful, because what they offer is so eye-appealing, they garner a lot of attention and a lot of followers. And while these people may have a really big account, a lot of them have no clue what the hell they're saying or what they're doing or the damage that they are causing. So the term with the baby witches, I see a lot because they use it as a almost like a judgment call where, oh, you don't know what you're doing. And a lot of these people that are coming into it are internalizing this idea of, I just started, I have no idea what I'm doing, when most of the time these people that you're looking at have no effing clue what they're doing, what they're saying, and some of them aren't even practicing. And I'll tell you something too, for those who are me, for example, and I know a lot of the people in my community as well, what we show you is about 5% of what we're doing in the background. I do a lot of my own spiritual work. I do a lot of research. I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of my sacred space is just sacred. I might take a picture of like the corner of a crystal, but I will never show you the full image. I think it's almost, for me at least, it's a little sacrilegious, right? I can inform you. I can teach you. I can teach you how to do it. I can help you learn how to do it. But my practice is almost my own, right? It's my personal space. It's my secret space that for right now, I don't feel like sharing. And a lot of people are like that. So what happens with these larger accounts is that they're sharing a lot of misinformation. They're degrading the people that are coming to their page. And it's unfortunate because what they're doing is pushing people away when it's supposed to be a welcoming environment. Now, there's two schools of thought in this. One is, well, this is my own spiritual practice. I'm not here to teach. I'm just sharing it. Okay. And the other is, well, I want other people to be welcome and I want people to do what I'm doing. So I want to share as much as I can. Okay, both are valid. But if you are not in a place to teach or inform people, why are you posting it? That's my train of thought, right? Like, so what's the reason? It's so for brownie points, for popularity, so people can follow you. Like, you might as well post pictures of your lunch, and you have more to say about your lunch than you do of your spell jar, let's say. So these accounts a lot of the times are telling those that are coming in, oh, you're doing it wrong. You don't know what you're doing. And they start internalizing that. The other part is the wrong information. So I've seen information that can, okay, so full disclosure, this is the third time that I've attempted to record this episode. And the first time I got so emotional and so upset that I couldn't finish it. And I had to shut it down. So that's why you don't have an episode last week. I had to compose myself, make some notes, and stop ranting. So the harmful part. There are large spiritual gurus that have advocated for self-harm, and because they follow or they believe in reincarnation, they have told their followers to, I'm just going to leave that there. They've told their followers to just start just to reincarnate. And I'm not going to give this person's name out because I don't want you looking for this person, because this person is on a very fear-based journey and they are sharing this information to other people. So I'm not going to help share that. So they are advocating for these ideas that are detrimental to the person's mental health and even the person's physical health. I've seen accounts saying, well, you don't need to go to the doctor. You just need to walk outside in nature, and that's going to cure your depression right up. And that's not the case. Integrative health is a real thing. If you are feeling physical disease, if your mental state is something that you cannot control, we have doctors, and you should go to a doctor. And no random person on the internet should be telling you that you don't need a doctor, or that you can just walk outside with barefoot and say my depression is cured, because it doesn't work like that. Your crystal is not going to cure a broken leg. A random person on the internet is not going to walk you through your mental health issues. You need to take control of that. And if you feel like you can't, you need to seek professional help. And if you ever go to my website, that's all over my website. This is not to replace any medical help, advice from a licensed healthcare practitioner. So yeah, you have these accounts making these baseless claims, and forget it. With this pandemic now, it's gotten so much worse. You have accounts who are teaching people how to do hexes or curses. And while I am more of a person who believes in not following or not making fear-based decisions, they are promoting fear-based decisions. Now, I fully am aware that not all hexes and curses and stuff like that is a thing that a lot of people believe in. And if you do believe in it, everybody thinks to have their own reason. Fine. I'm not making a judgment call on that. What I'm making a judgment call is teaching somebody these techniques, without knowing the whole story, because you always get one side of the story, right? But are teaching these things that are potentially extremely dangerous. I can think of one particular story that I've read a few years ago about a woman who could not... Okay. She wanted this person, a guy, and she was so in love with him, and she had not spent a lot of time with him. He was really standoffish, but she was sure that this was her soulmate, the kindred spirit, her twin flame, which I hate that term, twin flames. And they were sure. This girl was like 19 or 20 at the time, and she wanted to do a binding spell. And I can tell you right now off the bat that you never want to start a relationship with a kidnapping, because it's essentially what you're doing. I don't even do Reiki for other people without their explicit permission. So if you ever buy a Reiki service from me for a friend who really needs it, I won't do it. I will ask you need to get their explicit permission or it's not happening. Because honoring other people's energies and honoring other people's free will is a thing. And we should all honor that. We're not doing that here, folks. So this particular person was so sure that this was their soulmate, the person they wanted to spend the rest of their life with. And somebody taught him how to do a binding spell or a honey jar or a love spell or something. And they did. Oh, and she went ahead and made sure that any future versions of herself, so any possible future version, reincarnation, they were tied forever. Okay. So they did that, and they did it, and they buried it somewhere in somebody's yard or in a yard or something. And this person, I think they buried it in their backyard, and they ended up moving. They did get the person, they did get the guy, and the guy turned out to be extremely possessive and abusive. And she couldn't get away from him at all. And she had no access to whatever spell she did. And I don't know what happened at the end of that story. I don't know if she was able to get back in the house to reverse a spell, or I don't know what it was. But yeah, this is if you believe in spells or not, or hexes or curses or whatever, I believe in intentions. I believe in the energy that you're putting into something. And she put so much energy towards this thing that she got what she wished for. She tied that person and she could not get rid of him. Her life was miserable. I don't know what the ending of the story was. I hope she's okay now. But yeah, these are things that are readily accessible to you if you just look deep enough on social media. The other thing that's huge right now are scammers. So what scammers are doing are they're copying or mirroring an Instagram account. I'm saying Instagram because this is where I've seen most of it. They're mirroring this Instagram account for these big accounts. One that I know of personally was actually two. Astrology Angel Mediums, which is one of my BFFs. I love her. And the other one was Luz Astral. It was the other one. It's another one that I follow. And their accounts got mirrored, and whoever was behind these fake accounts started reaching out towards other people and offering them readings for like $10-15. So of course people started falling for it because they're huge accounts with like 150,000 followers, and people fell for it. And yeah, scammers are taking advantage of the situation with social media. It's becoming easier to connect with one another and giving false information and false hope. Oh, my favorite ones are the people that promise you or guarantee you a service, bringing a lover back, money. There's tons of them, and they're just on social media and they're promising you all these services for the low price of like $50, $200. I've seen it go up to like $3,000 for really involved work, because social media has just made it easier. They're like spirituality boss babes almost. It's weird. So the scammers are rampant. They're huge. The other part, and this is a big one, and I think it's really difficult for people to see, are mental health issues. A lot of people have this, a lot of those who suffer from mental health issues or issues such as narcissism or people with a very large ego, they tend to gravitate to very specific areas such as spirituality to feed into their egos. So you have these very large gurus, and I know you can just go on Netflix and look up a single documentary on New Age or spirituality, and you're going to find tons of them, or these people have acquired this mass following, and they are total douchebags. They're people who are egotistical, who are self-serving, self-centered, money hungry. They're just these individuals that are in it to serve themselves, and there's plenty of them on social media at a much smaller scale, but they're there. And the word you're going to watch out for, and this is part of the tips that I'm going to give you, is when people tell you, only I can do this. Only I can help you. Only I have this power. Only I have this ability to communicate. And they're putting themselves in this much higher space than you are. And people buy into it. I'm telling you, people are really, really desperate. And I get that. This is not a judgment call on those who are following. This is not for the followers. I'm teaching the followers what to watch out for, because there's so many of them. There's so many that it's mind-blowing. And I know there's one that I see constantly, right? And their quotes are always popping up on my feed because somebody's resharing them. And they're a pretty big account. I'm not going to tell you who they are because I don't want to get sued. This person, I know this person is such an a-hole that they have like this word vomit sometimes where they say stuff and they don't say anything, and people are like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm like, no, they're you're just feeding into their ego, and they fit an aesthetic. They're like full of tattoos, they're gorgeous, like long black hair, but they suck. They're like, as on real life, they're a sucky human being. They're just awful. I'm not going to tell you who they are because I don't get sued, and I'm not going to feed into their into that. So, and this particular person, leading into the next topic, there is a toxicity within the spiritual community. And if you ever open YouTube, you know about the beauty community, right? And they would say, oh, the beauty community is so toxic. It's so like bad. People are backstabbing each other. What's the one with Tati Westbrook and Jeffree Star, right? And what's the other kid's name? Charles something. I forgot his name. Charles something. And I guess they were like backstabbing each other and saying all this stuff that wasn't supposed to be. Well, let me tell you something. The talk in the spiritual community or the New Age community or whatever you want to label it as, there is very much that, where people are speaking ill about each other, where people are backstabbing is the word, where they're creating little groups and speaking ill about another person, and even going off and attacking them, creating fake accounts to write bad things under their Instagram page, attacking them on their DMs, hexes and curses, and just being nasty, just like bad. And it makes me, I've never been part of any sort of scandal or drama. Sometimes it plays out in the public view, and then sometimes it plays out in the background. And there's been a couple times where they've attempted to drag me into it, where I'm just like, nope, stop, thank you very much. Thank you for playing, but no ma'am. And yeah, it's unfortunate because the message that we're trying to send is we're all on a path. We are all divinely connected. We all have our guides. We all have our ancestors. We are all on this journey home, and we're just walking each other there. And for them, it's not that. It's more of a self-serving idea of like, how many followers do I have? How many orders do I have? How many people are following me? I think I already said that. Or how many shout outs can I get? How many likes can I get? How many books can I get my name into? It's that. It's just that. It's crazy, but it's that. But there are positive sides to social media, right? So that's a great place to find your community. That's a great place to find your people. That's a great place to learn. Sometimes you can learn. Sometimes there is good information. There are people who are genuine in their path, who are genuine with their word, who are genuine with what they're doing, and they genuinely want to teach you, and they are authentic, and they want to help you, and they're there just to provide a little nugget of information. If their full goal is not to teach, but to at least to enlighten, to inspire. There's people who are traditional teachings. A lot of the traditional beliefs are oral, right? So now there are a lot of people who are being a little more open with those teachings, who are providing more information. And I think that's amazing. I mean, I live in the middle of Kenya, and there's teachings from my home in Latin America that I can't access here. So the fact that there are people willing to write a little bit about it, to teach me a little bit about it, is amazing. And I couldn't do that without social media. I couldn't do that without the internet. So what can you do? What can you do to stay on your toes and to call out on some BS? Tune out. That's my number one thing, is tune out, is turn off the phone and go pick up a book. Go pick up a book from somebody who has dedicated time to researching, dedicated time to practice, dedicated time to their path, and read about it. I'm actually reading a book now. It's called, oh shoot, I will tell you in a minute. Oh no, I'm sorry. I hate doing this. It's called Orishas. Okay, it's called Orishas, Goddesses, and Voodoo Queens, The Divine Feminine. That's the book that I'm reading now. I highly recommend it. It's extremely informative. It's by Lilith Dorsey, or Dorsey. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And it's an inspiring exploration of the goddesses of the West African spiritual traditions and their role in shaping Yoruba, Santeria, Haitian Voodoo, and New Orleans Voodoo. And it's of course, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's something that I am interested in learning about. It is my history, and it's something that I want to learn. So pick up a book. Pick up a book that you think is going to inspire you. Follow your intuition. This is the big one. You have a third eye, use it. This is where you're going to start tapping into that intuition. And if it smells like BS, if it looks like BS, it's probably BS. And disconnect from it. You can change your entire feed by just unfollowing somebody. If the person is saying things like, only I can do what you can do, only I can do this, you can't do that, you're doing it wrong, I'm better than you, I am a leader, those are things that you can just tap out of and say, this is not for me. Either you're lifting me up, or you're not, or it's just not helping. And you can disconnect from it. You're completely allowed to disconnect from it. Sometimes you're not going to agree with 100% of what they're saying. You might agree with 75%, and that's totally cool. Just make sure that you are aware of what you are reading, believing in, and following. I hope that made sense. Don't put people over you. Kind of goes in hand in hand. Don't buy into the I am better than you, I can do this, I have been doing this for so long. Yes, they're allowed to teach. You can put them as a spiritual leader, but they're not better than you. There could be a spiritual teacher, but they're no way better than you. Everybody has a connection to the divine. Everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own path. It's not their place to make a judgment call. If they inspire you, great. If they don't, if it's more to your detriment or they're making you feel bad, stop. Especially if you don't, yes. If they're not hurting, just, okay. And then ask for guidance from your own guides. You can connect to your guides. If you want to work on that, if that's something that you want to practice, that's the final thing, is start your practice. Don't wait for something to fall on your lap. Don't wait for somebody to post something so amazing you're going to have a spiritual awakening. Start your own spiritual practice. Start by creating a sacred space. Start by meditating. You can meditate before you go to bed. You can meditate while you're gardening. You can buy my book and start looking at your chakras and try to figure out why there's symptoms, why there is disease. What can you do? What techniques can you integrate into your daily life to help you feel that much more connected to spirit? I want to say one more time, there is no wrong way to do this. As long as you're not hurting yourself and you're not hurting other people, you can start right now. You can start by going home, lighting a candle in a very safe place. Don't leave the candle unattended. Light a candle and just sit. Sit in silence and quiet. If you want to do that in your bathtub or in your shower, go for it. If you want to do that while you are, like I said, gardening or walking outside or doing yoga, do it. But you can start literally right now. You don't need anybody else to tell you what to do, what you're doing wrong. So I hope this episode helped you. I hope this episode was enlightening somehow. And I hope if you take nothing out of this, like if there's nothing else that you've heard, know that you are not less than anybody else, that you can do your own spiritual path, your own spiritual journey, your own whatever. Feel spiritually empowered. If you want to learn, but don't let other people step on you. Don't let other people demean you, and don't internalize negative comments, especially from social media. Other people suck on social media. Other people are amazing. Other people suck. There is one person, I'm trying to think. There was a book that I was reading, and it was such a quick turn off for me that I was like, oh, God, no, this is crazy. The Celery Guy, Medical Medium. The Medical Medium starts off, it was like a total hype book. He was just hyping himself the whole time. And basically all he recommended was like celery juice. And one of the things that he said was, oh, only I can do this. Only I have been given this gift. And I'm just like, all right, dude, just because he said that is just like, go suck a nut. Anyway, thank you for listening to today's episode. If you watch me on YouTube, thank you for holding on. Again, my name is Michelle. You are listening to Spilling the Tea Leaves podcast. You can find me on Instagram at Remember Love. I promise I'm super nice on Instagram, and I'm only hyping you up. And I should make like a whole post about pages that I love. So follow me on Instagram, Remember Love. If you have any questions, you can email me directly at michelle@rememberlovehealing.com, or you can just find me online at rememberlovehealing.com. I hope everybody has a beautiful weekend, and I should be doing more of these. I'll be on YouTube more often. We'll chat, we'll hang out, we'll do stuff, and more podcast episodes. All right, love and light. Take care of yourself, and whatever you do today and tomorrow may be for your highest good. See ya.